Welcome to Soccer Gaming and welcome back to the channel where you'll find helpful guides, tutorials, and even some Royals Dynasty rebuild, and that's exactly what we're doing in today's episode. The Season 1's over. We're done with Season 1. We finished second to last place in all of baseball, but that just means we're going to have a good draft pick, right? So we got a lot of rebuilding to do. It is the offseason now, so we got a lot of things to cover in this episode, including free agency, all the team stuff going into it, and then some contract negotiations and stuff like that. And then we're probably going to even get to where we start spring training. I'm not sure if we'll get that far. I want these episodes to be like 30 minutes to 40 minutes. I don't want them to be an hour and a half long. So depending on where we are with time and everything, all of that will be in this episode. So if you guys like to watch that, stick around. Okay, let's jump into this one. Off season. Exclusive free agents negotiations. We got review staff. We got a rebrand, which we're not going to do. Then we got free agency in just 6 days. Before we start that, I want to look at what our roster looks like, because we've got some new guys that I think are going to be potentially making a big difference. And you know what? We're just going to basically show the ones that we got in the draft, basically, because nothing's really changed since then. So in the draft, we got Orlando Hernandez. He was our number one pick, number 6, I believe, or were we number 4? I don't remember. 4, 5, or 6. We were one of those picks. Our first pick was Orlando Hernandez. He turned out to be basically a stud. Yes, I know he's 22, but he's honestly MLB ready, and depending on how he does in spring training, he might see some playing time on the field. The next guy was Koji Sato, who's our number 2 pick in the second round, or the round in between 1 and 2 or whatever. He was our pick there, and we really like what he can do as well. Something a guy probably could come up and play a little bit. We'll have to see how he does in spring training as well. Roberto Valdez, 19 years of age, 70 overall. He's a guy that I think we start in AAA. We see how he does, make sure that he's good, and then we'll send him up to the majors at some point this season, or it might be something like that. Or if we're in spring training and he's just killing it, like, he's going to start, he's going to be on that major league roster. Next guy we got was Freddie Dorda, a guy that's definitely going to be in AA, AAA, something like that. Get some extra work there. Then we got 19-year-old Antonio Anderson, same thing, going to get some work. Oh, never mind, he's already here. Who was the other guys? Nick DaCosta, he's got some building to do. Meza has got some building to do as well. So all of these guys are going to be in the minors to start the season. I just wanted to kind of go over some of the new players that we have, and where we're basically looking at increasing people and decreasing people and all that good stuff as well. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be getting rid of some of our coaching staff, okay? And we didn't do great last year, so it's time that I think we probably make some changes. And the first change we're going to make is this guy is out of here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We need a manager that can do a lot of different things and can really help us. Boom, right there. Dino giving us the 3 power, the 1 stamina, and the 3 speed. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. I want to look, because I want speed, but I also want some of... I don't really care about power, to be honest with you. What I care about is either hitting or fielding stuff or something like that. But it looks like he might be the only guy that has speed that's good. I think maybe we'd go with him, and unfortunately we're stuck with the power. If it was contact, that'd be even better. But I think we offer this guy contract. Hopefully we can get him in the door. 40-man roster. We are also in arbitration. We got tender contracts. We got free agency to talk about. There's a lot going on in this. So what we're going to do to start off is we got to get a couple of guys moved over to our 40-man. Okay, arbitration. This is where things get a little crazy. He made what, 4.8 last year? He made 4.8 last year. I think a 3-year deal for 6.5 is good. Let's do 20 mil. and then both option, rotation, front loaded. All the big contracts we're going to try to front load. I think that's we'll see what they want to do. But I don't think he'll sign that. I don't think he'll sign that. What do you want? 3.8 a year. He didn't have that great a season though. 4.21. I think we just offer arbitration. Melendez. How much do you want on a contract? 2.9 million a year. We could definitely make that work. That's definitely a doable thing. If we do like a 4-year everyday player, put this at like 8 mil. We could do player both. We do player and then front load it. That's 2 million a year. I mean, I'm happy with that. If he takes it, I'm happy with it. If not, let's offer him 8.5. That should be enough to get him signed. Was that it? That's all the ones I had? Nice. Okay, now the tender. Renew their contracts for no less than 80% of their previous. Renew. Dude, is he a guy that we think is going to be part of the future? I'm worried about it, but do we make a risk? So he wants 3 million a year, and I don't know if that's really worth it. Now the fun part. So what we do need, and looking at this, starting pitching, we need pretty much everything. Let's be honest with you, we need about everything. So let's jump into free agency and see who's here. Obviously, so we're gonna take this for how the Royals would pursue this. Now, I'm wanting to make them better, and I'll make better decisions, I feel like, than the Royals do as far as the money spent. But I'm not gonna go out and get Juan Soto. I'm not gonna go out and get even like Alex Verdugo. Like, I'm not going to go out and spend a lot of money on, like, one big guy. What the Royals do is they spend money on, like, just a bunch of, like, I wouldn't say little guys, but, like, they would go out and spend money on, like, Frankie Montas. Okay? They would spend money on him. They would try to get him to have a good year, and then they would trade him at the deadline. I'm not going to probably do that, but, like, if there's a guy that's down here, like Jake Junis, like, if he's had a good year or something, and, like, I'm like, well, you know, I could give him 10 mil. Like, I'll do that. So just keep that in mind when I'm going through here. I'm not just going to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on like Christian Walker and Alex Verdugo and Pete Alonso and Juan Soto. Like, I'm not, like, the Royals don't make big budget player decisions like that. And I honestly, you know, someone has to, but it's not going to be the Royals. So keep that in mind when we're going through here and looking for people. Obviously feel like we need some starting pitching. So looking at this, I feel like we do need some starting pitching. We're okay at shortstop, third base, second base, I hate to go out and try to make something happen, but second base could be a position that if we find someone good that we like, we hit up second base. Catcher we're probably fine for another year, so I'm not going to go out and get a big name catcher. I would say relief pitching and starting pitching are probably going to be our main look at. Second base, I think, could be an option too. So starting pitching, let's take a look at second baseman and see what we got here, see if there's somebody we want. I would love Whit Merrifield. Even though he's crapping bricks, I would still love that Whit Merrifield. Nice 36, maybe not. And Rosario. See, like, how's this guy even make it there? Ahmed Rosario would be a guy for sure. Nobody's offered him. I think we offer him. I think Ahmed Rosario would be a player we offer. What do they want? He wants $3 million a year. Oh, for sure. I think we could definitely make that happen. I think we could definitely make that happen, especially since, I mean, he's still getting quote unquote better, and he's not like a big name guy that's like wanting hundreds of millions of dollars. So he wants 3. So I think we offer him a 4-year, 12 mil with both option. He's probably going to be an everyday guy, right? I would assume. Front load it. I would assume he would be mostly starting. But I guess we don't know until, you know, we know. So I don't want to put that in there and like piss him off or whatever. So we'll offer him that. We'll see what he does, see what he decides to do. Someone like what's this guy? Diaz. He doesn't seem to be able to do much, and then we're already in. So that's pretty much the only guy I think we would really go after. I would see the Royals would go after like Jace Peterson is who they'd really go after. Like this would be the guy they go after. But I'm not the Royals front office, and so I make better decisions. And these two guys are way too expensive. Probably worth it. Probably worth it. But for me, way too expensive. Starting pitching. For sure he gets some huge offers, right? Nick Pivetta. I could see us giving him a second chance. I'm not sure it's really worth the $10 million. I would be willing to spend like $8 million on a pitcher. So if we could get a pitcher in here for like $8 million, like this guy, we would totally sign this guy. Lorenzen, totally sign him. I actually like that. That was quite a bit. So let's see what we could do here. Junis 32, Lorenzen 33, this guy 33. Lorenzen, I feel like he could still do some stuff for us. I would go like, what's he want? It's a multi-year deal, obviously. So he wants, so even 2 years looking for $7 million. 2 years, let's do 2 years, 15. That's 7.5, and front load it. So that's 7.5 for him. We'll see if he likes that. Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty would be a guy I'd want. How much are they offering him? Nothing yet. Jack Flaherty would be a guy I want. Just he played for Detroit. Detroit's not great. We're not great. I mean, we're worse than Detroit. We had a worse record. But I like Jack Flaherty. He wants 4.9 a year for 4 year. Let's do a 3 year with a player option. Probably going to be in the rotation, I would assume, right? 75, I believe that puts him in the rotation. Let's not do that yet. And we don't want to break promises. And then 14 mil would be 4.7 a year. Front load it. Maybe we offer him at 13 mil. See if he takes it. I would go up to 5 mil a year. 15 mil 3 year if we need to. I would definitely do that. Mike Soroka. I mean, like, why did they even let him walk? Like Soroka, huh? See, this is one of those things like where, I would pick him up in a breeze. Not even thinking about it, pick this guy up. But I feel like that's just not, the fact that he's here, it's just weird. Like, it doesn't feel right to get him. And he would be a huge trade piece and everything. Like, it doesn't feel right to get him there. So we're not going to go out and get him. I don't like it. It feels gross. But Miley, he's still pitching good. 38. Sure. Tiaharon. Cueto's still there. Lance Lynn. Still dealing. Dang. He's still dealing. He paid for, St. Louis got pretty deep in the playoffs there. So again, we're not gonna spend a lot on relief pitching. I would spend a couple mil on relief pitching. This guy looks good. 1.1 ERA. I'll take that. What's he want? He wants 3 mil a year. I'd do 3 mil a year. I'll do 3 mil a year with player option. I could do that. Bill Dillon, 0.9. I'll offer you 2 mil a year. Closing pitchers, again, I don't think we're in a spot where we should be spending money on closing pitchers. When we are ready for the playoffs and making those playoffs runs, then we will definitely either spend on a closing pitcher or try to trade for one. But right now, there's really no, as bad as it sounds, there's no point in paying top dollar or something for a closing pitcher when we're not even probably going to make the playoffs, whether he's good or not. So that's what we're going to do with that. I'm looking and I'm trying to, when I'm doing this, I'm trying to look through and be like, okay, who, if they don't pan out, would be a good trade chip? Because if I was all out, like, this year we got to win it all, I'm trying to pick up guys like Santander and Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill. I'm trying to pick those guys up, but I'm still rebuilding and using money right now for the rebuild in places that aren't where we need it. It seems kind of not normal to me. So, I mean, if we can get all these guys, then I think we're in a good spot. I don't think we're going to get them all, but I think we would be in a really good spot if that's who we could get. That's who we could get. All right. Corbin Burns going to LA. Okay. So renewing the contract. We signed Trainin and Jonathan Loizuiagna. So we signed those two guys. So we got 2 relief pitchers. So we got Trainin, we got Loizuiagna, whatever his name is. Then we got Flaherty. We got Lorenzen. We got So we got Lorenzen and we got Flaherty. Need some relief pitching. It looks like 11 of 15. So we need to go out and get more relievers. Unfortunately, that just means we have to spend money. You're so old. Jeez. It's like, well, I mean, you kind of get moved to relief pitching role when you get old because you can't go deep in the games. And if you're still good enough to have anything left over, you're kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we'll see if we can get a couple more there. Okay, Brewers, what you got? Hunter Renfroe, relief pitcher. He's our best relief pitcher. He's not bad, dang. But for Hunter Renfroe, the real thing it comes down to, I feel like I could get a little bit more out of Hunter Renfroe from a trade perspective. I feel like I could get a prospect out of that, which would be in longer term, it would be better for us. So I think we decline this one because I feel like I could get a better return for prospects with Hunter Renfroe than a guy that's just going to kind of fill up the pen right now. Soto going to the White Sox. That's not good. Clay Holmes going to the Red Sox. So he's going to the White Sox, which means I'm going to have to see him all year long. Got Carl Edwards, 40. Okay, so I need to probably do one more just in case of the Rule 5 draft. There is somebody I want to take a risk on. What's the last one? Probably Jonathan Bolin. I mean, if he goes somewhere else, it is what it is. I don't think he's ever going to be up at the majors at 28. Yeah, 28, 66. I just don't see him being there. So that opens up the one spot for the Rule 5. I'm more than happy with that. I think we got the people we want. All right, Dodgers got something for us. River Ryan. Good old River Ryan. Absolutely not. Not a C potential. If this guy was B potential, possibly. Possibly. But C potential, that's just a no-go for me. Again, I think Hunter Renfroe, people are wanting him. He's going to be one of those veteran bats that people want in their lineup, like when they're making that playoff push. That's the perfect time to trade him away and try to get something back. You know, prospect wise, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, this is where we find out draft lottery. This is where we find out what draft pick we are going to be having for the coming year, and this could be good or bad. We'll have to wait and see. So we are second. Looks like we are 16.5% odds of getting the number 1 pick. So that's something. Excited about that, I guess. So we have a high percent chance, but it's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. Our luck will probably get like the 6th pick out of this or some crap like that. All right. Coming as the second worst team, do we get the second best pick? Here we go. The simulation of the draft. I don't care if we don't get the number 1 pick, but if we don't get a top 3 pick, I'm going to be pissed. So Blue Jays get the number 1 pick. So we actually got lucky. So, wow, everyone moved down. This is nuts. So we actually got lucky. The Blue Jays got the number 1 pick. The Mets got the number 3 pick. So they jumped almost 10 spots, both of them. I got to stay at 2. And then the Athletics dropped down. The White Sox dropped down. Who is it? The Athletics. So Athletics, worst team in baseball, get the 4th overall pick. We still had number 2. So I can't be mad about it. Hopefully the number 1 guy isn't just a god tier guy. So I'm happy with that. But wow, the Blue Jays and the Mets jumping that high is huge. That's so weird. They were almost a 500 team and they jumped 10 spots with both of them with 1% odds basically. That's crazy. That's wild. All right, Rule 5 draft is up. Second pick. See if there's anybody here we really want. Player pick. All right, so this person has to be on our team, on our like MLB team all year. So has to be someone that can play in the majors or that we think could play in the majors. And we want him to be at least decent. I mean, the potential we want to be there. So we're going to kind of like look through these guys and see if there's anybody on here that I feel like, oh, he could really actually make an impact on our team. I don't think any of the starting pitchers would actually benefit or be helpful. I think they're just too low. Trey Morgan, first baseman. Yeah, he's not MLB ready. And the rest of these guys are C's. I think Roshan's actually is the pick here. But I also feel like he's not, and I should just not pick anybody. That's my thought. I think we skip him. I don't think he's actually going to benefit us much, and I feel like we just don't. It's not really worth the pick there. So I think we're going to skip selection and either let somebody else have him or whatever people want to do. Nationals have a trade offer. Already trying to get our rookie. Both of our rookies for Dylan Cruz. So, realistically, this would be probably, well, he's 23. So, how old is Sato again? Is Sato 22? 22B. And he's 19B, which I feel like he's going to be the bee's knees. Realistically, I would say yes, because Dylan Cruz is good, and he's going to be really good. But it's too much for guys that just drafted. We don't know if they're going to be good or not. I understand them wanting to take a risk, but they're also giving up. They're giving up basically their best prospect, I believe. Maybe James Wood is best prospect. Anyways, they're giving up one of their best prospects for two guys that we just drafted. I feel like that's just not realistic, so we're going to go ahead and say no. I would love to, because Dylan Cruz is really, really good, but it's not realistic, okay? All right, Giants, what you got? Bobby Witt, not going to happen. I don't even care what you try to give me. It's not going to happen. Dang, Athletics going after Glaber, huh? Okay. Dang, everyone's coming to the AL Central, apparently. They got Freed, too. Really? Twins are really making moves this year. Cleveland wins it all, and the Twins are like, crap, we got to do something. Just makes the AL Central that more difficult. Renewable contracts, arbitration hearing for Kyle Isbell, arbitration panel decided with Isbell. Salary, $1.4 million. Sided with Bubich, 3.1. Royals, okay, he's doing 1.4 for Josh Taylor. Singer, $6 million. I think I offered him 5.5. I think I offered him 5.5 is what I offered him. 1.7, dang. Melendez, 1.3, worth. Lynch, 1.5, worth. And then that should be good for everything. Everything looks like it's filled as of right now. And obviously when we get in spring training, we'll make some changes and stuff, move some people around, do that type of stuff, do that type of work. But up until now, this is where we're at. Just spring training's the next thing. I mean, we didn't do anything too crazy off-season wise. We just kind of made a couple of big adjustments. We've got some better relief pitching. We brought in Luis Yagna, Carl Edwards. We brought in, I believe, we were too big, and Blake Trainin. So we brought in 3 big relievers. We also brought in Michael Lorenzen as a starter and Jack Flaherty as a starter. So I'm excited for what they could possibly do this year. If they can kind of just eat innings and possibly be a trade chip towards the deadline, that would be like what we really want. Jack Flaherty, I could actually see getting some good use out of him for a couple of years. I believe we signed him to a 3-year deal. So wanting to at least get maybe a couple of years out of him before sending him somewhere else. Relievers, closers, did mess with that. Nothing really crazy with catchers. Didn't sign anybody. I don't think we really signed anybody in big positions. We did sign Ahmed Rosario for second base, mostly just to kind of be, I wouldn't say a crutch for Michael Massey, but I want somebody else there just in case. So just in case Massey's really starting to struggle, Rosario can kind of take over and eat up some time at second base. Basically what that move was. Koji Sato, one of our new guys we got, could see him in the pros. I'm not sure really. I think we start him off at AAA, kind of get his footing and then move him up. at some point in the season, hopefully early. If not, if like Maikel Garcia is crushing it, then there's no use bringing Sato up. But if Maikel Garcia is really struggling, Sato's hitting around 300 in the minors, then we might be bringing him up. Nothing really crazy here. Shortstops, nothing really changed, I don't think. Left field, nothing really changed, I don't think. Center field, we got our new guy in Orlando Hernandez. I believe he probably will be here opening day. Just kind of depends on how the outfield shakes out. I wish he was better at fielding and stuff, but again, that's something he's just going to grow with age. I mean, you just got to get used to it. Especially at center field, you really want a good center fielder, usually quick center fielders, so they can cover a lot more ground. So we'll see, though, because, like, look, we have MJ Melendez, that is our left fielder. We would assume he stays there. Then we have Orlando Hernandez, and then we go to the right field, and we got Carpenter, Renfroe, Velasquez, and Veen. Blanco will probably move down at some point. But we have a ton of great players. I know Renfroe basically is just a trade chip this year. I'm hoping to kind of get his stats bloated, and then try to find a suitable team to take him and try to get some prospects back for him. So that's a plan for him. Kerry Carpenter could go either way. If he's continuing to have a good season, then we ride with him. But if he's struggling, then it might be, hey, this didn't work out. Let's move on. I'm hoping Zach Veen really takes a big leap next year. He took a pretty big leap this year. 229. I know that wasn't great, but he took a pretty big leap this year, and I feel like he can kind of hopefully become that role if Nelson Velasquez doesn't take it over. So we have some right fielders who just need to show up, but again, that could eat into the time that Orlando Hernandez gets, because I'm not sure he's just a set in stone center fielder that we just set out there every day and let him roll. So we'll have to see going into it, but we will come back in the next episode and start spring training. I want spring training and opening day to be the same episode, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of position battles in spring training, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be covered in spring training. So I think that's a whole nother episode. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other Royals Dynasty rebuild. Till next time, Slacker out.